Well, blessed Monday to you as we come with your daily encouragement. And we're going to talk about what it means to be a revolutionary Christian, to be one who wants to be part of the Jesus revolution, not necessarily a political revolution, although you might act out in politics, not necessarily a church revolution, although you might want to restructure the way you do church and other things. But it is a revolution of the heart and of perspective. And I'm going to talk about Paul, first of all, in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, and he speaks about the generosity of the Macedonians. Now, this is one of the famous passages of generosity. We often hear about when churches do things wrong. Here's one about what a church does when it does it right. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, it says, Paul writes, "We want you to know, brothers and sisters, about the grace of God that has been granted to the churches in Macedonia. For during a severe ordeal of affliction, their abundant joy and their extreme poverty have overflowed in wealth of generosity on their part. For as I can testify, they voluntarily gave according to their means, even beyond their means, begging us earnestly for the favor of partnering in the ministry to the saints. And not as we expected. Instead, they gave themselves first to the Lord, and by the will of God to us, so that we might urge Titus that as he has already made a beginning, so he should complete the generous undertaking among you. Now, as you excel in everything, in faith and in speech and in knowledge and in utmost earnestness and in our love for you, we so want you to extol all this generosity, this generous undertaking." Now, there are two things to learn from that. Is that the Macedonian people didn't learn that in a time of success, at a time of prosperity. They learned it in a time of poverty. Now, I'm not saying that we should seek out poverty or seek out things that are distressful to us, but it says in Hebrews that God tests those who are called by Him. And in fact, Luther even talked about a theology of the cross versus a theology of glory. That we learn more about what it means to be a Christian when we are undergoing a trial or a tribulation. Now, I will just say I'm here at Central Freeborn, and this is a new building because the old building had burnt down many years ago. And we have shed a lot of tears because of that older building. I never got to experience it, but I know in the minds and hearts of many people that was a very dear place for them. But God had a teaching through that time. I don't think that God willed that the building burned down, but God had a teaching, and the tenacity and the generosity of the people grew because of the realization that we need one another. And through that, we have had a soup and dessert supper that has paid that generosity forward to numerous places, and it still goes on today, even though we're talking about an event that happened more than 25 years ago. So, all of these things are just reminders that when we go through a time of trial, we have an opportunity to be generous or to wallow or to just be sorry for ourselves. Now, there are two things that it says in this passage. It says, one, that we are to commend ourselves first to God, because God is our foundation, and God is our only foundation. And that is the case whether one is in partnership or feel themselves independent of other Christian believers. But the second thing we learn is that we are to commend ourselves to a place to express that generosity to other people, to other places. And that's what God gives us the opportunity to do in this passage today. So I just want to commend that to you as an opportunity for us to experience the love of God in Christ Jesus and the love of God for the people of this world. And so when we are going through trials and tribulations, we have the example of the Macedonians who gave themselves to the work that is in Corinth through the work of other people, so that they could spread the love of God in Christ Jesus. God bless you today. We trust that these are words of encouragement. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.